na yung mga adolescents nga if naa sila yung mga problems nga naiuban nga mga adolescents nga bisag unsa kadako sa mga problema kaya ra na nila cope, no, or kaya ra sila maka-adjust ani nga mga problema. Napoy uban nga mga adolescents nga bisag gamay ra kay ang problema dali ra kay sila down or maglisod sila og cope sa ilahang situation. And then be physically healthy. Of course, when you are when you are mentally healthy, no, it can affect your physical state. Okay, and then have good relationships. No, of course, when you are mentally healthy, it can affect your interpersonal relationship. No, with others. No, how you communicate with others, and then I'm going to explain further, no, these things later on sa next slides, no. And then make meaningful contributions to your community, no. Okay, and then work productively, and then realize your full potential. So, facts about mental health, no. Mental health is integral to health. And then when we are going to talk about health, no, these this covers the following dimensions. No? We have the physical, the emotional, the social, the intellectual, and the spiritual. So as what I mentioned, if you are mentally healthy, this can greatly affect, no, the 5 dimensions of your being, and vice versa. No, vice versa in the sense nga when these 5 dimensions are nasa mga imbalances, these 5 dimensions can also affect your mental health as well. So again, no, like we have the 5 dimensions, we have physical. So if you are not mentally healthy, tendency would be it would affect your physiological state, your physical state, no? Like say for example, no, when students are not mentally healthy or they're experiencing stress, say for example, of course it could really affect their physiological state. Like say for example, cases of panic attack, no? So panic attack is you can associate panic attack with anxiety, and then the problem lang with panic attack is that ang case lang with panic attack is that you are experiencing symptoms, no, physiologically. So say for example, difficulty of breathing, isa na siya a symptom. And then we also have this increase sa imuhang blood pressure, and then nagapalpitate ka, no? So you see, if you are not mentally healthy, tendency would be maka-affect na siya sa imuhang physiological state or physical state. And then we also have the emotional aspect, no? So if you are not mentally healthy, your emotions are not regulated. No? So if your emotions are not regulated, tendency would be, no, like if there are situations nga maka-provoke sa imuha to react that way, no, dali ra kay ka mo react sa anong inana nga situation, no. So yun, like for example, anger management, no, or if you have anger management issues, so yun, so dali ra kay ka mo react. And then follow na din ana is ang imuhang behavior nga i-manifest considering anang isa ka situation nga naka-provoke sa imuha to react that way. And then we also have the social aspect, no, how you deal with others. So yun. So if you are not mentally healthy, tendency would be maka-affect na siya sa imuhang pag deal with others, the people that surrounds you. It could be your family, it could be your friends, no, it could be your instructor, say for example. Okay, and then we also have the intellectual aspect, no. So your performance, your academic performance could be affected if you are not mentally healthy. And then lastly is we have the spiritual aspect. So spiritual aspect has something to do with finding your purpose in life. So if you are not mentally healthy, tendency would be maglibog ka kung unsay purpose nimo sa imuhang life, and vice versa. Okay? So if you cannot find your purpose in your life, tendency would be maka-affect po na siya dito sa imuhang mental health. So mental health is determined by the following factors. So we have first is the biological aspect. And we are going to talk about biological aspect. It has something to do with your brain chemicals, no, and your DNA, no, that affects your mental health. And then I'm going to discuss further biological aspect sa next slide. And then second is the socio-economic, no? What do you have, no? And then kaning naa sa imuha karon is mo match ba siya sa kung unsay demand sa imuhang environment. If it doesn't match, no, so tendency is maka-affect na siya sa imuhang mental state. And then environmental, no, the people that surrounds you, no, or ang imuhang surroundings, okay, it can also affect your mental health. So I have here, no, a relationship between mental health and Big Five personality factor model. So I only put three studies, but to tell you there are a lot of studies that tells the correlation between mental health and the Big Five personality factor model. So as what I mentioned kanina about the biological aspect that affects our mental health, these five personality factor model are um, biological in nature. Okay, so this is biological kaning big five personality factor model. So why did I include this one? Because as what I mentioned, dako ni siya impact sa ato ang mental health, ang atong personality, no? Ang atong personality. And the big five personality factor model is valid across cultures. So mo ni siya kasagaran ginagamit, no? So yon. So we have openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So the question there is that why is it that it can that the big five personality factor model could greatly affect our mental health? Like say for example, no, when we're going to talk about agreeableness, no, so if you score high on agreeableness, no, so you are the person who keeps on saying yes all the time, no. So if there are offers, if there are requests, no, you will keep on saying yes. Okay? If you are an agreeable person. The downside of this one is that could greatly affect our mental health is that you cannot accept lang ng accept, no, requests because you only have 24 hours a day, no? So yon. So how are you going to prioritize things if you just keep on accepting offers, no? Opportunities, no? Requests from others, no? So dili ka kabalo mo say og no. So yon. So that's why it can greatly affect your mental health, no? And then the problem with agreeable people is that aside from ganahan sila nga magsige sila ingon og yes, no, mahadlok pud sila moingon og no. And then nay uban sa ilaha nga whenever they keep on saying yes, no, pero deep down inside, no, dili sila ganahan, they just want to please others, no. And then here comes the obligation in relation sa katong request nga ginahatag sa uban sa imuha, no, or gina-request sa uban sa imuha. So tendency would be, no, the more nga daghan ang atong obligations nya dili pa jud ta kabalo mo storya or mo assert sa ilaha, so the more jud ta ma-stress nga maka-affect sa ato ang mental health. On the other hand, that doesn't mean that if you are low in agreeableness, pwede na ka or exempted na ka sa um, sa effects sa mental health, no. So if you are disagreeable, if you are high on disagreeableness, so tendency would be, no, ang problem na po nimo if you keep on saying no are the people that surrounds you. Because to tell you, if you are high on disagreeableness and you keep on saying no, you will be misinterpreted by others, no? So yon. So what the psychologists are trying to tell you about these five personality factor model is that you need to balance, no, between the two extremes, no. Kay nadjay uban sa atoa nga ang mugawas is extreme ang ilahang agreeableness, say for example, or on the other hand, extreme pud ang ilahang disagreeableness. So if you are a disagreeable person, you need to practice the other side of the spectrum. Okay? Now, another example is kaning atong gitawag nga trait neuroticism. So yon. This is muna siya ang pinaka pwede na to ma-set nga example about nga pwede na to ma-correlate jud between dito sa mental health, because when you're going to talk about neuroticism, if you are a person who is high sa neuroticism, so you are an anxious person. So anxious kay ka, no? Dali ra kay ka mag anxiety, no? So yun. And your anxiety, if taas kay imong anxiety level, maka-affect na siya of course sa imong mental health. Pero again, as what I mentioned, no, that doesn't mean that if you are low in neuroticism, di na siya maka-affect sa imong mental health. Because if you are low in neuroticism, tendency would be you are calm, you are relaxed, no? So if you are calm all the time, you are relaxed all the time, labi na pag naa kay mga responsibilities nga dapat pa nimong atimanon, no? Complacent ra kay ka, tendency would be, no, you will feel stressed, no, later on because you have this kind of passive behavior nga dili nimo atimanon dayon ang imuhang mga responsibilities. That's why night times nga ang anxiety, no, is a friend, no, nga ang anxiety is going to help us to keep us pushing for to help us to move forward, no, or to push forward. That's why ang anxiety is very, very helpful po somehow. Okay? But then if it's too much doon, then maka-affect na din na siya sa imuhang mental health. Okay? So, this diagram, no, or this paradigm is connected to the big five personality factor model, no. And I'm going to explain this one in a layman's way, no. As what I mentioned, no, our personality traits are biological in nature. So nakuha nato ni siya, it could be perhaps gikan sa ato ang parents, sa ato ang grandparents. So yon. So naa siya biological basis, no. So by the way, the big five personality factor model was formulated by Robert McRae and Paul T. Costa. So and then that doesn't mean nga since nga it's biological in nature nga dili na nato siya ma-improve, no, or di na nato siya gradually nga eradicate or ma-practice tong sa pika side of the spectrum, because in this diagram there is this what we call as characteristic adaptations. So magdepende ang pag-change nimo sa imong personality trait sa flexibility sa imuhang flexibility. Okay? So therefore, no, mental health can be nurtured and developed. Okay? So what are the protective factors that helps us to maintain our mental health? So there are two, no? We have individual attributes and then we also have social circumstances. So example for individual attributes are the following. First is we have self-esteem or confidence, no? So you are confident. However, no, there's a but with this one, and this is not commonly being discussed, no, about the dangers of having high in self-esteem. So we need to be very careful pud about discussing self-esteem, because research found out that when you have high self-esteem or too much ang imuhang self-esteem, you are pwede ka ma-link dito sa narcissistic personality disorder. So it's tightly linked. Okay? Okay? So dapat balance lang ang ato ang self-confidence o self-esteem. Okay? So dili too much, okay? Kaya mahimo tang entitled permanente. Okay? This could lead to narcissism. And then the next one is ability to solve problems and manage stress and adversity, no? So you are resilient, okay? And then communication skills, no? Communication is very, very important. It's a very important protective factor in maintaining your mental health, no? Because whenever you feel sad, say for example, if you are good in your communication skills, no, so you are going to, or you will articulate your, you will learn how to articulate your how you feel, no, about that situation nga nakapa feel sa imuha og sadness at that present moment. And then expressing your emotions, no, is very very crucial, no, because when you're going to keep on when you're going to always keep your emotions lang sa imuhang self, no, tendency would be, no, maka-affect na siya sa imuhang physiological state. That's why it is very very essential for you to really express how you feel, no. So yon. And then aside from that, no, this is a very very interesting study, no, and I'm going to direct this one dito sa mga introverts, no? So yun. Because 'di ba ang mga introverts really like to be really prefer to be alone. Doesn't mean that they are shy, no? But di ganahan lang sila nga sila lang, no? So yun. Especially on solving their own problems, for example. So there's a study that says that when you are antisocial, no, taas ang tendency for you to become psychotic. So yun. So that's why, no, it is very essential for us to again practice the other side of the spectrum in relation to, as what I mentioned, katong personality, five big personality factors where naka-indicate dito ang extraversion o introversion. So dapat, though we are antisocial, at some point, no, we need to also learn how to relate well or to mingle with other people. Okay, in order to, aside from practicing our ability to share or to express how we feel with others, but also learning from their own experiences and how they manage, no, these problems that they have experienced. Okay, and then the next one is physical health, no, or fitness, no. Examples like exercise, no, um, eating right, okay, very very important, no. So when we exercise, according to neuroscientific studies, no, when we exercise daw, when a 50-year-old exercise, no, or exercises, tendency would be ang iyahang brain capacity as 50-year-old is mahimo siya or mo transform siya into a 30-year-old nga brain function. So yon. So according to neuroscientific studies, okay? So question, no, I cannot see your comments, but then you can freely write your comments there sa live, no. So what are your individual attributes that help you in maintaining mental health, no? So yun. Okay, so the next one is social attributes, no. So examples of social attributes are, we have social support or family and friends, no. So, have you experienced that social support from your friends or from your family? No, it is very good to have a supportive friends, no, and supportive family. No? Good parenting, okay. Family interaction in which your parents are very open sa imuhang mga concerns, no. They will give you a chance to talk about your concerns, no, your day-to-day concerns, okay. So you are given the chance to express how you feel, okay? And then physical security and safety, no? And then we also have economic security, no? Your finances, no? Is it okay ba? So these are examples of social attributes. And then lastly, your scholastic achievement, your performance in school, no? How's your performance in school? That's also one of the protective factors, okay? So the next question is, what are your social attributes that help you in maintaining mental health? Okay. Okay. So I got this diagram uh from my previous talk about anxiety and stress, no. And then when you're going to talk about this one in a general sense, no, what is really the impact of pandemic on our mental health? And I think this is something to do with um, our explored territory and our unexplored territory. So in life, no, according to existential thinkers, no, and according to also according to developmental psychologists, no, in life there is this what we call as explored territory and unexplored territory. So what are these two? No, when we're going to talk about explored territory is your comfort zone, no. So mo ni siya ang imuhang usual nga ginabuhat every day, no. Mo ni siya ang imong nakagisnan nga ginabuhat, naanad na kaani, that's why ma-consider nimo ni siya as explored territory. So kung explored territory, dili ka maka-feel og anxiety about ani tungod kay naanad na kaani, no. So yun. So routine na lang siya. And then, there is also what we call as unexplored territory. So, yun. So, whenever we go beyond our explored territory, we will feel or we will experience the following. No? So, stress and anxiety. So, yun. And as what I mentioned, that is normal because as what I mentioned, whenever we experience a situation that is new to us, of course, we will feel anxious. Okay? And this pandemic is new, then since that this pandemic is new to us, no? So we consider this one as unexplored territory. Okay. On the other hand, no, don't you know that human beings as we are really encouraged to explore the unknown, no? Or to go beyond our explored territory in order for us to improve our mental health. So yon, diyan na ta magsugod, no? This talk is not just merely on or not just merely focusing on relaxation. So we are going to also talk about how are we going to improve our mental health. And improving is doing something about it, no? And if you're going to do something about it, of course, we are going to improve our mental health. And then later on, I'm going to discuss, no, how are we going to explore the unknown that can help us improve our mental health. Okay. So, what are the ways to improve our mental health? So, diri na ta sa how, no? How, okay? So, as what I mentioned, there are three aspects that we are going to discuss that can help you on how to improve your mental health. So, we have self-awareness, no? We also have self-care, and then improving your resilience. Okay. So first is self-awareness. So I put here two aspects that we need to consider when we're going to talk about self-awareness. So I think you are familiar with this one, the SWOT analysis. No, in your senior high, I think na-discuss ni siya sa inyong senior high. And what is SWOT analysis? No, so it composes of um, four aspects, no, or four window panes, no. So we have strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Okay. Strengths and weaknesses are individual attributes, no, your personal attributes. And then opportunities and threats are um, social attributes or environmental attributes. So in order for us to know ourselves, no, first is we need to really think about our strengths, no. What are those things that we have, no, that can help us achieve our goals, say for example. And then the next one are our weaknesses, no. What are those things that we have, no, that can impede us from achieving our goal? Or say for example, what are the weaknesses that we have that greatly affects our mental health? Okay? And then below are opportunities and threats, no? Opportunities has something to do with what are the things that we have, no, that can help us improve our mental health. And then for the threats, what are the threats that surrounds us, no, that impedes our in developing our mental health. So these four aspects are very, very necessary tools in order for us to become self-aware. As the saying goes, no, it is more difficult to rule the self than to rule the city. And I truly believe in that, no. And it really is very, very difficult to have self-control, no, to rule ourselves than to rule the people that surrounds you. That's why self-awareness is very, very crucial. And you cannot become effective leader, say for example, or helper, say for example, if you cannot rule yourself. Okay? So yun. And then the next one is that we need to consider also are the big five personality factors, no, or the big five personality traits, no. Your neuroticism, openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, and agreeableness. So in order for you to know, no, your personality traits, no, you can take an exam, no, no, it's a standardized test, and I think available na siya sa inyong guidance office if you're going to request, no, for a test, no, in order for you to to further know yourself, no. Okay, additional info sa ato ang self. The next one is you need to reorient your life. Okay? So, yon. So, maybe perhaps, no, makaingon ta nga, why is it that we're discussing about mental health, and then why is it that we are tackling on our own issues? Because it's very, very crucial for us to really tackle on our own issues, no, in our own flaws, because these are contributing factors, no, why you are not mentally healthy in the first place. So yon. So you start with the next part is reorienting your life, no, like questions like what do you want, no, in your life, what's the reason why nag-enroll mo ana nga course karon, so you need to figure that out, no. So yon. Like what's my purpose in life, no, an existential question just like that, because when you're going to answer that one, it can add up sa imuhang pag-know nimo sa imuhang self. So yon. Okay, so reorienting your life is very, very important. Naiuban sa ato nga mo decide ta, no, we try to decide on things nga wala nato ginahuna-huna og insakto, and then later on it can affect your mental health, magbasol na dayon ta. So yun. Okay, napoy uban nga they are they know that there's a tendency that they will fail, no, or there will come a negative outcome sa ilang inaana nga decision, but they keep on what, they keep on following that kind of decision or action, say for example. And in psychology, that's what we call as willful blindness, no. We feel we are somehow aware that we will fail, no, but then we just keep on doing that same that kind of thing, no, or we know that we are going to make mistake with that kind of thing that we decided to do, but then siguro or perhaps it's pleasurable to us, we keep on doing that kind of thing, no. So yon. That's why reorienting your life is very, very important. Okay. And then we also have properly manage your time. So there are two questions nga nasa akong mind, no. Why is it that managing your time is connected sa self-awareness? And why is it that managing your time is connected sa ato ang mental health? Now to answer that one, no, properly manage your time can greatly contribute on developing your self-awareness, because when you're going to manage your time, when you're going to prioritize things out, of course, you will know kung unsa daytong mga butang nga important sa atoa, no? So yon. And then you get to know yourself more. And then what is it something to do with mental health? Because when you're going to properly manage your time, no, and then nakatabulate na tanan dito mga schedules na to, ana nga day, no. So yun, is it can greatly affect no our body, no. And then there's this what we call as circadian rhythm, no, that whenever we like human beings as we are manggod, according to this psychologist named Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, he is a clinical psychologist at the University of Toronto, no. What he's trying to tell us is that as far as managing your time is concerned, human beings daw need routine, no? And before you do that, you need to first properly manage your time. So when you have routine, no, mag-improve da kuno ang atong circadian rhythm, and circadian rhythm is responsible for the regulation of your emotions. Okay? So that's according to him, no? That's why we need routine. We need, but first, no, before we consider, no, before nato tan-awon kung unsang routine nga naata, we need to first prioritize and properly manage our time. Okay? And then the next one is self-care. Okay? First is eating right, no. So we are going to discuss about the basics, no. Eating right, no. So and then the questions there are like, um are you eating the right kind of food? Are you eating the right amount of food? So yun, no? So things like that, no. Naiuban nga when you're going to go back there sa presentation nga how mental health affects our physical state. So when you are not mentally healthy, tendency would be naiuban, no. I'm not saying all, no. Kay depend lahi tag build sa atong body natay ectomorph, endomorph ug mesomorph. So naiuban nga matingala na lang ta nga ang uban is mukalitrag ka chubby, no? So yon, because nag-stress eating dai sila. So yon. So you need to be mindful of what you are eating because this can greatly affect our mental health. So yon. Um remember lang nako ni siya nga advertisement nga you are what you eat, no? So yon. You also need to have an adequate and restful sleep, like 7 to 8 hours, no? Dapat mo na siya ang dapat nimong ma-consume nga sleep, no? So yon, in order for you to improve your mental health. And having a restful sleep, no? Uninterrupted sleep could also affect your circadian rhythm, no? The one who is responsible for regulating your emotions. Muna matingala ta sa uban nga if kulang sila sa tulog, no, na uban nga grabe kayo dali ra kay mairita, no, because of that, no. Isa na siya ka responsible sa ato ang mental state. And then exercise, no. Do you exercise, no, every day, no? Bisag 20 minutes lang, bisag 30 minutes lang. Do you jog, no? Naiuban nga kaning caused by this pandemic, ang uban ang gipalit og bike, no? So yun, ang uban nang jog, no? In order for them to be physically healthy and at the same time improve their mental health. Okay? And then we also have this what we call as creative socialization. As what I mentioned, socialization is very, very important in improving our mental health, no? Because when you socialize, no, like number one, you learn to understand the feelings of others, no. So that could greatly improve your level of empathy, no. And then at the same time, no, aside from learning to express your emotions, but then you can also learn um, you can also learn from the experiences of other people, especially on how they manage their own problems, no, their own concerns in life. Okay. And then we also have positive practices, no. So it tells us to think positive, no? We need to think positive. What are those things nga makaingon ta nga thankful ta? Those things that surrounds us nga makaingon ta nga thankful ta. So it could be an event or a situation. It could be the people that surrounds you, no? So yon. But then we also need to be very careful on um discussing positive or like thinking positive, no, because there is also this what we call as toxic positivity. So yon. So toxic positivity has something to do with trying to relate our situation to what is unreal in order to just console ourselves, no. So like say for example, when you feel bad, no, about something, that's why gituyo na ko nga giuna na ko ang self awareness, ha, because this is the reason why nay times nga we think of things, no, like we feel something about ourselves, no, feel bad about ourselves because of a situation that is happening, say for example, no. And then when you what what's- what is like when you're going to talk about toxic positivity, no, in relation to that kind of bad situation that you are experiencing, no, tendency would be you will always say to yourself that everything will be all right, no, everything will be all right, everything will be all right, without even trying to know kung unsa juday ang cause, no, why you are having that kind of problem. So yun. So it could be perhaps, no, the problem is nasa imo ang self, say for example that you need to change, or the environment that surrounds you, no. That's why we need to be very careful on thinking positive all the time, because night times nga ang atong thoughts, no, mo result into toxic positivity, no. So yun. And it is really not helpful, no, though like sa inana nga present moment makafilter or makonsulta sa ato ang selves, no, pero in the long run, no, ang problem nga permanente ra siya nga naara siya, so dili nato siya ma-solusyonan, no. That's why in improving our mental health, it is also very necessary to know kung unsa jud ay ang cause, no, why you are feeling that way. Kung unsa jud ay ang main cause, no. Kay ang uban man god, they're going to apply meditation, say for example, no, they will feel okay pero naara gihapon ang source sa problem. That's why, no, in social media right now, no, and when especially when you're going to talk about mental health, common na kaayo na nga makita nato sa social media nga it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay, no. And I agree with that, no. I agree with that, no. However, there's a but there, no. There's an extension there, no. It's okay not to be okay, and then by recognizing the fact that you are not okay means that you need to do something in order for you to become okay, no. And one of the solutions there is to try to figure out the really the main cause of the problem that you are experiencing, no. So yon, kaya naman ko'y time sa ato ang life nga ginapaundayunan na po nato ang feeling of not being okay without even doing something to ourselves, no, or without even trying to pinpoint what is really the problem that causes you to react that way. Okay. Okay, and then the next one is practicing mindfulness. Okay, practicing mindfulness. Um, Mindfulness is all about considering, merely considering the here and the now. Okay, because human beings as we are, no, um, we are living either sa past, no, or sa future. Na uban sa ato nga magsige na lag dwell permanente sa past, no. Magsige na lag dumdum permanente kung unsa tong nahitabo before that um, that tragic experience that you faced at that time, no? So yun. And then ang uban pud sa atoa is we keep on focusing sa future nga wala pa man ta na siya moabot. That's why it makes us feel anxious, no? And then when we're going to talk about the definition of anxiety, it talks about the fear of the unknown, no? Fear of something nga wala pa siya nahitabo or naiuban nga dili man gani siya mahitabo. So in mindfulness, no, it it um it teaches us on how to really appreciate what is in the moment. Okay? So yon. So okay. So I'm just going to expound more on the mindfulness na explanation, no. Kay as what I mentioned before, no, we need to like somehow magka-contradict siya sa kung unsay mindfulness is all about, no. Because mindfulness, as what I mentioned, is all about focusing on the here and the now. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to really focus on or not to take or not to give importance on your present responsibilities, no. So dili na siya ingon ana ang mindfulness. And then talking about focusing on the present instead of dwelling sa past, no. When you're going to talk about dealing sa past, no, ang past man good is not na importance nga pwede siya mahatag sa atoa, no. And then what mindfulness is trying to tell us here is that, and I'm going to relate this one with Charles Darwin's explanation on trying to remember the past, no. And I think you're familiar with Charles Darwin, no. He's an evolutionary psychologist. He said that the purpose of the past, no, is not just to or not is not to reminisce what really happened at that time. The purpose of the past is we are going to upon reminiscing those what happened before, no, we are going to get something, no, what we learned about those experiences and try, and then what are those mistakes that we committed at that time, and then try not to repeat it sa ato ang present situation karon. So I think that's the benefit of reminiscing the past, no. Trying to get or to analyze what are those mistakes that we committed at that time, and trying not to repeat those mistakes, same mistakes sa ato ang present situation right now. So yon, okay? Because if you're going to keep repeating those mistakes, tendency would be maka-affect po na siya sa atong mental health. Okay. So the next one is increasing your resilience, no? So this is the last one. And some of you might wonder, why is it that this is a mental health discussion, and then why is it that example diriha is gradual exposure to difficult situations? So yon. Going back to what I mentioned about um katong sa explored territory and unexplored territory, I mentioned that um, aside from considering our explored territory, we are also encouraged to go beyond our explored territory and experience the unexplored territory. So yun. And I mentioned here gradual exposure to difficult situations. Hinay-hinay nga exposure sa difficult situations in order to increase our resilience. Mga makahatag og dakong help sa ato ang mental health. So yun. When we're going to talk about resilience, no, it's the ability to cope with certain problems, right? And then the opposite of resilience is stress. And stress could greatly affect, could negatively affect our mental health. That's why increasing our resilience is very, very important. Now, talking about stress, no, which affects our mental health, no, there are three responses that you can only make whenever you experience stress, no. You have this in your psychology 101. We have the fight, we have the flight, and we have the freeze, no. So yon. So fight is all about trying to manage with that kind of stressor that you are experiencing. Flight is all about trying to avoid with that kind of stressor that you are experiencing. And then freeze is kanang ma-shock ka, no? Dili mo ma-contain ang imong self kay inana kadako ang stressor nga niabot sa imong life. So example ana are those people who are experiencing post-traumatic stress disorders, no? So yon. Okay? And then we are when we're going to really scan, no, or to really go into the literatures, the only way to increase our resilience is to really expose ourselves to difficult situations, but gradually. So yon. So we really need to expose ourselves in difficult situations. And there is a an effect sa ato ang body ana, no, like when you're going to talk about neuroscientific studies, no, according to neuroscientists, no, when we expose ourselves in negative situations tapos ato na siyang ma-overcome, but then as what I mentioned again, ha, it's gradual. Okay, it could increase, no, your hormone called serotonin, no, so yon. And then every time naga-increase ang ato ang serotonergic level, so ang tendency ana is whenever we face a difficult situation again, medyo lesser na lang ang atong pag-take ani nga mga situation tungod kay nag-enhance ng ato ang resilience level. Okay? And then the last one is accept change. Okay? So this is from I think some of you are familiar with this person. His name is Viktor Frankl. He's the author of Man's Search for Meaning. He is an existential psychologist, no? So yon. The reason why I put Viktor Frankl here is that his life situation was very tragic, no? So Viktor Frankl was born at that time during the Nazis time, no? Katong kang Hitler before. And as we all know, no, ang kaning mga Nazis, no, are ginasulong nila ang mga Jews tapos ang katong mga walay pulos are ginapatay nila. So yon. So si Viktor Frankl at that time was detained dito sa Auschwitz. Auschwitz is a concentration camp, no? And then what Viktor Frankl found out was that during atong time was that because he's a scientist, no, he's a doctor, he tried to study his inmates. And what he found was that those people, no, who did not accept change sa ilang life situation, imagine being imprisoned dito sa concentration camp, no, katong mga tao daw kuno nga wala naka-accept sa ilahang situation o wala naka-find og meaning and purpose sa ilang situation, mas dali na nga matay compared sa katong mga tao or mga inmates nga naka-find sila meaning and purpose sa ilahang situation and they accepted change, no, ni persevere sila, ni survive sila, no. So yon, after the Holocaust. Okay, so yon, that's why he concluded that accepting change at some situation and finding purpose and meaning ani nga situation that we are currently experiencing could greatly increase our resilience. Okay, so where can you find the meaning, no, sa katong tanan nga discussion, no? In life, no, you're familiar with this one, no? I got this from Carl Jung, no. This is a yin and yang, no, a symbol. And according to Carl Jung, the message here is that in life, no, there's this what we call as order, and there is this what we call as chaos, no. And in a layman's way, no, ang tawag ani niya is gulong ng palad, no. Night times nga smooth sailing atong life, napoy times nga maka-face jud ta og chaos sa ato ang life. And that's normal, no. Inalang ko yung nakaligtaan ganina nga wala discuss, and then I'm going to connect this one here, no. So yon, because in life really, no, chaos will really come, no, in our life, no. And then like when you're going to talk about safe spaces, no, like for me, no, I don't know about the others, but I don't really believe on safe space, no, because for me really the world really is a dangerous place. And what do I mean by that, no? Like illness comes in, a death of a loved one will come, financial problems will come into your life, no? So yon. And what you're going to do as a person, no, who is um the hero of your own story, say for example, is to do something, no, about these kinds of dangers that are going to come into your life, no, because dangers are inevitable, no. So yon. And example ani is sa therapy, sa counseling, no. What we do with our clients, no, whenever the person is going to experience fear, anxiety caused by these negative situations, negative experiences that the person is experiencing is that here's how we do this, no. The when the person is experiencing stress or anxiety caused by this situation, no, instead of, like for example, this is the level of the anxiety of the person, and then this is the level of the the anxiety level of the person, and then this is the level of um um the intensity of the stressor that the person is experiencing, no. Example is environmental stressor na siya, no. Yan mo ni siya ang iyang resilience level, inani siya. So what we do in therapy is that, no, instead of making the world or his world safer, no, because we cannot do something about it, instead of making his world safer, we are going to make the person stronger. So yon. Okay? That's how we do in counseling sessions, no? So yon. Because ang environment, no, environmental situations are inevitable na siya. So that's why we're going to train the person to become braver, to become resilient in order to improve his mental health. Okay? And um also I'm going to share this another situation in which we can reflect about this. I don't know what your thoughts about this, no, and but then this is what I learned from a psychologist named Peterson, Dr. Peterson, about bullying, no. Sometimes, no, no, this is intended for, I don't know if what's your reaction with this one, no. In bullying manggod, no, in connection to mental health, sometimes, no, or most of the time makita nato sa mga seminars nga it only focuses on the bullies, no, anti-bullying act, no. So yun, focusing merely on the bullies. But don't you know that when you're going to analyze really the situation about bullying and the bullied, no, there's also a problem with that bullied. Why permanente siya ginabully, no? So yun. Because ang bullies, no, they only choose people nga pwede ra pod nila mabully. So yun. So the message there is that, no, and this is also a message for the bullieds, no, nga affected ang ilahang mental health is, I think it's time for us to also do something about ourselves, no, in order for us not to be bullied, no. So yun. Because naiuban nga mga tao nga dili jud ginabully sa mga bullies. So yun. Nara jud ginapili nila nga ginabully because there is something wrong with that person. And dapat kana siya nga person is dapat na siya somewhat like it change sa iyang self in order for him to improve, no, his holistic self and his mental health as well. Okay? So yon. So going back to that diagram, no, about finding meaning, no. In life we will experience order, we will experience chaos. And a while ago I talked about meaning as something like finding purpose in your life. If you can truly find your purpose in life, no. So yon. So according to some researches, you will persevere, and at the same time your mental health will improve. Because in life, no, chaos really is not an exception, is not really an exception for you to experience that one. Kay moabot jud ng chaos sa ato ang life. So that's why the reason why I first put self-awareness, no, as one of the ways on improving our mental health, because in order for us to know kung unsa jud ay ang dapat natong direction sa ato ang life, no, that regardless of the chaos, no, that will come into our lives, we are still going to persevere, no. So yun. And at the same time, mag-improve ang ato ang mental health because as what I mentioned, when you're going to gradually expose yourself with difficult situations, of course, magkataas ang atong serotonergic level nga and then serotonergic level is a happy hormone, no, that improves our regulation of our moods, no. And then it can increase or it can improve our mental health as well. And I guess that's all for my presentation for this morning. Thank you and thank you everyone and once again good morning.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Soria, for the very brief and concise um, delivering of the topic. At this juncture, we are now giving the opportunity for all the students to ask, to raise their concerns, and to raise questions, some questions that I know na ay daghang mga pangutana nga nagdagan sa inyong nahuna karon. And you will be given a chance to ask. You just have to um, put it into comments in the comment box section, or if you are willing to ask live, naatay option nga pwede mo mangutana sa atong resource speaker live. So I will be giving you the link for you to ask our resource speaker. Again, you may also comment down for your questions, your queries, and we are going to acknowledge you and appreciate. It will be our honor, and we would appreciate you guys if you raise some questions and concerns about the topic that have been discussed by our resource speaker. Anyway, right after this webinar, there is a evaluation link na po inyong sudlan. Again, that will serve as also your attendance today and our that will merit your our requirements for the clearance signing this by the end of semester. So, just stay tuned until this webinar activity will end. We will post also the link for the evaluation. Again, we'd like to encourage you guys to ask questions. You are very much welcome to raise your concerns. Feel free to log in or feel free to comment down your questions. Walay mangutana. I know some of you are already drafting their questions. But again, we still have a lot of time. Napamampo tayo time. So, you're encouraged again to ask questions. Okay, we have one from Miss Gina Militares Bada. Unsay mga symptoms, sir, kung ang tao sobrahan naka-stress, di ba maka-apekto man sab na sa mental health sa usa ka tao?
Okay. Thank you for that question. Unsay basihan, no, whenever unsay basihan nato na ang isa ka person is stressed, no. Honestly, it's difficult for me to answer it, no. But then I'm going to provide na lang this answer, no. Knowing that ang stress man good is it depends on the person's interpretation of his or her stress, no. So yun. So, makaingon ta nga ang isa ka person is stress when you're going to directly ask the person if he or she is stressed. So yun. Dunay times nga makita nato physiologically sa isa ka person nga stress siya, like say for example when makita nato sa iyang face nga like inattentive siya, say for example, no. But then ang very valid ra jud ana nga makaingon ta nga stress ang isa ka person is when we're going to ask the person directly if the person is really stressed. Kay depende na siya sa kung giunsa niya pag kung giunsa sa person pag take ang iyahang situation. Okay? It depends on the person's explanation of stress. So yun. So dili ta directly nga makaingon that when you're going to observe someone, makaingon na din ta directly that he or she is or stress. Nagdepende na siya sa sa pagpangutana nato sa person o sa answer sa
Pag
person.
ma-bring in ka sa live, ma'am, pwede ka mo.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you. We'd like to encourage again some of the students to ask the questions. Along with me now is Ms. Carla Raga,
Hi, bye.
one of the guidance advocates of JIT, and she's handling from the College of Business and Information Technology SRX grade 11 and grade 12. So, this webinar series is open for all the students of SJIT, including grade 11 and grade 12 students. So I believe there are some who are from other grade level and from senior high school. So feel free to ask questions and wala na siyang bayad. So we would appreciate it also if you raise your questions and we're going to acknowledge you guys.
Okay, can I add, ma'am, about katong sa ganina about stress, no?
Yes, sir.
As what I mentioned, no, nakadepende na siya kung sa pag-articulate sa person about sa iyang situation if he or she is stressed or not, no. If we think, no, when you're going to ask the person, no, and then you think, no, at first, no, when the person is not telling you, no, pero makita na to that that person is happy, say for example, but then whenever that person talks, no, about his stressful situation and he tells you that he's stressed, you need to recognize that you need to recognize that one that he really is stressed, no. So yun. So I think that's one of the kanang basis na to in order for us to know if the person really is stressed or not. Okay.
Okay. Okay, another. How we can how can we prevent mental illness? This is very crucial for nowadays, especially to the youth, to be aware and how we can deal with it. Thank you so much for the
Okay.
question. This
Thank
is
you,
a
Zen.
psychology student, one of my students.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. How can we prevent stress? Same as what I mentioned kanina. So there are ways to improve stress, or to improve stress, to improve our mental health, to improve our mental health, no? So yon. And as what I mentioned, first is we need to have a self-awareness, no? Um, Unlike magud sa ubang mga discussion about mental health that they're just merely focusing on relaxation, say for example. But I do believe, no, as an existential person, I really do believe that there are really root causes why you feel stress or why you are experiencing mental illness in the first place, no. So yon. And then going back to what you mentioned or katong imong question ganina about mental illness ba to siya, if you're going to talk about mental illness in a clinical sense, no, um ano siya, there are mental illnesses nga curable and there are mental illnesses that are not curable, no. But I cannot dili na ko siya pwede ma-explain tagsa because it needs kanang na siya clinical nga mga explanations about it. So yun. But when we are just merely talking about stress, for example, anxiety, for example, that impedes improving our mental health, no. So yun. So those are the things that you need to follow. Katong self-awareness, no. Self-care, self-awareness very 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 important because there no I truly believe that there are perhaps there are things that that you know, for example, or that are inside of you, for example, or nasa imong environment, for example, that are root causes why you feel stressed, no, in the very first place. And it is very important for you to recognize, to know that one, and do something about it, no. As what I mentioned, no, katong it's okay not to be okay, really is I agree with that, but by recognizing the fact that you're not okay means that you need to do something in order for you to not to become okay, no. So dili lang mag-dwell permanente that you are not okay. You need to do something about it. And in order to do that, you need to pinpoint first what's the reason why you are experiencing that kind of feeling in the first place.
So, good morning, sir. I have another question here. So, he says,
Yes, ma'am.
my question, sir. Once an overthinker will always be an overthinker, but yun, sir, like, always na lang ka mag-overthink, even if gamay ra nga, even if gamay ra tan nga butang, unsay angay buhaton nga like, ma-stop ni mo na sige overthink. So, it's
Okay.
more on
When you
overthink.
Thank you, Ma'am Carl. Um, when you overthink, no, when you have problems of overthinking, no, first is you need to reorganize your thoughts, no, and you can do that by doing katong sa self-awareness part, doing time management, no, prioritizing. Because when you're going to prioritize your thoughts, no, how you think of things will be only limited sa kung unsay gitabulate nimo dito sa imuhang pag-prioritize nimo sa imuhang mga activities. Because one of the reasons why we overthink is because katag ang ato ang thoughts, no. Wala ta kabalo kung unsaon pag-organize sa ato ang thoughts. That's why when we're going to properly manage our time and know our priorities, of course, malimit ang ato ang thoughts diha lang sa kanang inana nga mga priorities nato or mga obligations and responsibilities nato. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, sir. I have question here nga gi-type na lang. This is coming from one of the students
Yes, ma'am.
of College of Arts and Sciences, and he is a psychology student. Since we're talking about mental health nowadays, we have seen people from Facebook posts and news pages attempting suicide. There are even people na wala masave, so they end up dying. One is
Mm-mm.
that woman from Tinago. Her comments and her says that person didn't show anything, like she can even talk and act normally. So no one expected that incident. Question po, what are the possible trigger warnings ang pwede natong bantayan for us to say nga naanay ginadala ang tao and pwede mag-suicide?
Okay. Um, there are a lot of things that we need to consider, no, for us to know if the person is suicidal or not, no. So yun. And when we're going to talk about suicide, no, there's a clinical element to that, no. So yun. That's why to tell you, no, to tell you, it's honestly, no, it is very difficult for us to first identify if the person is suicidal or not, especially if we don't fully know that person, no. So yun. Now, trigger warnings lang, no. Like for example, if you are close to that person, and then you know that that person is maka feel ka or maka observe ka that the person is somehow maka feel ka detachment sa iya, ha, no, mo detach sa imuha, tapos na yung mga changes sa iyang mood, say for example, no, so that could be a trigger warning, no. But then when you're really going to talk about it, no, kanang the human beings are very complex individuals, no. Nay uban nga matingala ta nga magngisi-ngisi lang pagkataod-taod mag-suicide na di ay, no. So yun. But then if you really truly know the person, no, of course, when the person, and then especially if the person is going to constant ang pag-share niya sa imuha about his or her problem situation, and then makita nato that the person is, and then di ay makita nato that the person has changes sa iyang mood, say for example, has changes sa iyang approach, for example sa imuha, or like kanang thinking of a suicide, of committing suicide, that could be a trigger warning. So yun. But then on the other hand ha, because of our complexities, no, nadyo'y times nga dili na to maibaw-an if the person um is really going to commit that is really going to commit suicide or not. So yun. Kuan siya, medyo difficult to really know, no. So yun. Kay nay uban nga makita nato nga mag-happy-happy ra, no. Ngisi-ngisi ra, nag-uban pa gani mo, no. Wala jud kay makita nga problema sa iya ha, no. And I think the solution to that, no, or like basic lang nga solution, or like pwede lang nga to mabuhat is to always ask your friends how they feel, no? How's their day, no? Kamusta sila, no? So yun. So that could be a helpful nga approach nga pwede nato mabuhat in order for us to know pod kung unsay ginaagian nila lately, no? Kay para kung makita nato nga na sila ani nga mga tendencies, we can refer that someone, or we can talk to that someone, and then if dili kaya, we can refer that someone to a professional. So yun.
Ay, sir. Okay. Na question, sir. Na nag from Miss Kat Celine. Sir, what if since pagkabata ni Agi na jud og depression until now tapos wala pa gihapon siya na heal ana na depression. Say angay buhaton, sir.
Okay. My question is, if it's clinically diagnosed ba, no? Na ba siya clinical nga diagnosis nga depressed jud siya? We need to be very careful on labeling, no? Especially sa ato ang emotions, labi na pag when you're going to talk about depression, because depression is a clinical term, no? So yon. So the question there is that na-diagnose ba siya as depressed, no? Because naman goy times nga ginagamit nato ang depression bisan lang og naka-feel ta og sad, sadness, no? So yon. Um Pertaining ana, no? Naiuban nga mga students nga ginagamit nila ang ilang ang term nga depression, but then they are not depressed. Maybe perhaps they're just experiencing an awful life. So yon. Again, you're not depressed. Perhaps you're just experiencing an awful life. And then when you experience an awful life, of course, you will feel sadness, no? So yun. You will be discouraged, say for example. So but then if it's if you are clinically depressed, no, you need to seek, no, professional help, no, from a psychologist or from a psychiatrist, no. I recommend that, no. So yun.
Um, Good morning, sir. So I have here a question from
Yes, ma'am.
Isaiah Flores. I think this is a clarification about what mental health is. So according to her, um, what does mental health really mean? Is it the same as happiness, or is it simply the absence of mental illness?
Um, I'll I'll go first sa second I'll answer first the second the question, no, if it's the absence of mental illness, because according to World Health Organization, that doesn't necessarily mean that when you're having a mental illness, no, or some sort of mental illness, doesn't mean that dili na nimo pwede ma-improve ang some other parts sa imuhang mental health. So yon. So dili siya, doesn't mean that they are polar opposites, no. Okay, though you have this mental illness, no, pero it doesn't mean nga dili nimo ma-improve ang some other dimensions that make you improve your mental health. Okay? So yon. So for the first question, no. So I already defined, or I already show you the definition of mental health ganina. It's all about the state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential, can cope with the normal stresses of life, no, It's a state of well-being. It's a quality of life, no, in which every individual realizes his or her own potential. When you are mentally healthy, you will be able to realize your own potential, which is in contrary with mental illness that can impede you, that can somehow, not totally, that can impede you upon realizing your own potential. And if you're mentally healthy, no, you can cope with the normal stresses sa imuhang life situation, itong mga stressors nimo, day-to-day stress, no? So yun. And then you can work productively and fruitfully and is able to make a contribution to your community. Okay, a positive contribution to your community. So that's the definition of mental health.
Okay, so full force ng SPS team. So I have here with us si Mr. Cagas and si Mrs. Sebes. We're now as much as possible, gipangitan ko magi nga mag-cater ang tanan questions. So we're very thankful for your questions, no? So I guess si Sir Cagas and si Ma'am Malin have some questions to raise for Sir Carl also to answer.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
So, ako na lang sa siguro sa guys. I-follow up ka tong di pangutana ka sa ila about suicidal. Follow question mo sir. So, said, na we need to be more careful in those people na mas happy tanaw as they are more prone to suicide compared to those that are silent and introvert. Can we validate that please or that has no clinical and basis? Thank you so much.
Ma'am, can you repeat the question? Medyo
Okay,
dili,
sir.
wala kinako na niya.
Uh, Someone said, we need to be more careful in those people na mas happy tanaw as they more prone to suicide compared to those that are silent and introvert. Can
Mm-mm.
we validate that is or that has no clinical and basis? Thank you.
Can we, as to ma'am, can we validate
Validate apo. Kung
if
naa
there
ba siya
is
clinical basis or that has no clinical basis.
okay, talking about I think I'm not the one who is I'm not capable to discuss with you when you're going to talk about clinical terms, no, or clinical ideas, no. But then one thing that I can ano kanang regarding Anna is in order for you to really identify, no, if whether if the person is really suicidal, um whether the person is stressed or anxious, no, and then dili na to, perhaps dili na to diha makita sa yaha is um we really need to talk to that person, no. So yun, first is we really need to talk to that person. Second is if the person, the challenge there is that if the person is willing to talk to you. So yun. So that's a challenge there, no. Willingness is very is a very important component in order for us to identify if the person is suicidal or if the person is stressed or if the person is anxious or not. So yun. So that's why my suggestion for those who are like some students are maybe perhaps they have this kind of experience, say for example, or having this kind of feeling. It is really crucial for us to really learn how to articulate how we feel, no, how we articulate our thoughts, no, to a trusted someone or to a trusted person. So in order for us to be understood, no. So yun.
Sir, there is a question. I'm not sure if Ma'am Gaga already read this question. Such a thing as right or good or normal state of mind? What what would such a state be experienced as? History of depression, and as a result, I am constantly trying to work out the answer to this question. So if I have the answer, and would the depression reject it anyway?
Okay. So going back to my question ganina, no, you mentioned that you have a long history of depression, but then the question there is that, is it clinically diagnosed, no? So yun. Okay. And as what I mentioned, no, if it's not clinically diagnosed, no, and I cannot say that dili po ko maingon that when it is being diagnosed na it is not depression, for example. But then that maybe perhaps no, when you are not depressed, for example, maybe you're not depressed, you just have an awful life. And then what you're going to do is katong self-awareness, very, very important, no? What are the things that you have in you that can help you on improving your mental health? And then what are those things, no, or events or situations or people that surrounds you that help you cope, no, and improve your mental health? So yun. Because if it's depression, no, it's a clinical term naman good, and ang approach sa depression is nagadepende sa life situation sa isa ka person, no. So if you have as if you are being clinically diagnosed as depressed, no, it is very, very essential for you to really seek professional help. Labi na pag, like, kung na-stop siya before, no, very, very important nga dapat mag-seek ka or i-continue na nimo nang imuhang therapy. If it's really affecting you gihapon until now. Okay. So, yun.
Mm. Another question, sir. When can stress be a good thing?
When can stress be a good thing, ma'am?
Yes, sir. May
Stress
important.
can be a good thing if stress anxiety and stress are helpful tools in order for us to improve, no? Iyon ana na siya, no? Sometimes, no, makaingon ta nga ang stressor is totally negative, na siya negative nga effect sa ato, and then sometimes most of the time ang anxiety is na siya negative nga makahatag jud siya negative nga effect sa ato. But then when you're going to really think of on the different aspect, no, the reason why people became resilient as who they are because they experience stress, they experience a lot of stress before. But then as a stressor can be bad, say for example, if because it also has something to do with how we cope with it, magud. Namogoy uban nga mga stressor nga bisag unsaon natog engage ani nga mga situation or ani nga stressor, di jud sa maka-help sa ato sa pag-improve sa ato ang resilience. Napoy uban nga mga stressor nga we really need to cope with this kind of stressor in order for us to become resilient. Like for example, no, when you're enrolling any course, no, of course you will experience stress, no. Of course you will experience stressors, no. But you are really encouraged to experience these, no, in order for you to aside from increasing your resilience and also improving your mental health as well. So yun.
So good morning again, Susan. I found here a question from Christian Olayer. So this question is, what is your perspective about why faith on God is not enough for a person who is mentally ill?
Can you repeat the question, ma'am? Sorry, ma'am, medyo choppy
Um,
siya.
okay. What is your perspective about why faith on God is not enough for a person who is mentally ill?
Why faith in God is not enough?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sige, so medyo religious siya, no?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Um, I think it depends on the person, no? Because there are people, no, who has um very strong faith in God, no, and or very strong faith sa iyang religion, no. And this faith is enough, no, in order to cure no the illness no. So nay mga cases ngayon ana no. Napoy uban nga the faith in God is not really enough no. That's why the person is going to seek for professional help no. So yon, I'm not going to close my argument regarding Anna that you're just going to like having faith in God is not really that enough no, because there are cases nga with just mere faith no naayo sila no. So it depends upon the person's perspective of what faith is in relation to in relation to what illness is that person is currently experiencing. Okay. Okay. I have here a question, ma'am. Ako na lang kung ano ni ma'am, kaning kang ma'am Angel. Like, what is the difference between anxiety and stress? And kanang if ma-stress ka, mao ba nay mag-lead og anxiety? Um, ang stress is maka-affect siya sa imuhang anxiety level and then vice versa, no? Ang anxiety level pud nimo maka-affect pud siya sa imuhang stress nga level. But then when we are going about it in a neuroscientific stance, no, lahi ang brain wiring sa sa anxiety o sa stress, no. But then it affects no the other, no, vice versa. So yon. Anxiety is all about fear of the unknown, no. Something is that is not there, no. So you have that kind of kanang makafeel ka that you are anxious, no. And then there's also this what we call as um normal anxiety, and kung sa existential perspective there's also this what we call as neurotic anxiety no. Ang normal anxiety is or happens when kana lang mga day-to-day experiences nato that requires us to to move to move beyond our comfort zone. Of course we will experience anxiety, like for example reporting, diba? When you're assigned a task and then you're going to report something ana nga day, of course it is normal for us to feel anxious. Neurotic anxiety happens when bisan og walay situation nga nakapatrigger sa imuha to feel anxious, but then naga-feel gyapon ka that you are anxious no. Ang stress is an effect no, is a physiological and psychological effect sa isa ka stressor no. Ang stressor is something that pushes you beyond your limit, for example no. So yon. So ang anxiety is maka-affect us sa ato ang stress level in the sense that whenever we feel anxious, too much anxiety, it could lead to stress no. Maluya ta no, maluyahan ta. And then on the other hand, ang atong stress levels no, pag grabe ang stressor nga atong ma-feel, maka-feel ta og anxiety. Example ana is if too much ang imuhang stress level na ma-contain sa imuhang body, nay uban nga cases nga maka-experience sila og panic attack no, that wala sila kabalo sa main reason why they are being anxious, but kung ato siyang tan-awon they're just stressed no, why naka-feel sila inana nga feeling of being anxious. Okay. Okay. Sir, when can you say you are cured of anxiety? Or how long does it take to get rid of anxiety totally? There are a lot of different studies, no, neuroscientific studies when you're going to talk about anxiety. And this is also what I discovered. I'm going to stand with my argument regarding aning diri ang part sa research no about knowing our anxiety levels no. According to neuroscientific studies, ang atong anxiety level is more jud na siya. So the moment that we are born no, when you are an anxious type of person, mo na jud na siya ang imuhang level of anxiety. So yon. So in our day-to-day experiences, no, sa ato ang life, no, of course we experience challenges, no, we experience obligations, no, that really challenges us, no, nga makaingon ta nga maka feel jud tag anxiety because of these obligations that we are having. um the purpose of our purpose, no, as far as anxiety is concerned, is this is your anxiety, this is your brave level. For example, taas ang imong anxiety level, you're going to increase your brave level despite of the anxiety level that you have, no? So yon. Because what we do in therapy is that it's just like this. When you're going to have a behavior therapy, no, and then you're going to expose yourself into a situation that makes you anxious, no. That doesn't mean that when you are anxious and then ma-expose ka aning situation permanente, no, nga mawala ang imong anxiety. No. Your anxiety level is still there, but your brave level will keep on increasing. So yon. Okay, granting that I have this anxiety, but my brave level is higher na from my anxiety level. Okay? So that doesn't mean that um, when your serotonergic level increases, ang imong anxiety is naga-decrease. No. Increase lang siya, pero naara ang imong level of anxiety. Yes, that's it.
There is another question. So,
Okay.
okay, from Mira Loreto, if you were surrounded with
Hala, nawala si ma'am. Okay.
I think I can read the question, sir, that she
Okay,
just
ma'am.
read. So this is from Mira Loreto. So according to her, if you were surrounded with people at home who causes her anxiety, what will be the best thing to do?
So, come again, ma'am. If you are.
If you were surrounded with people at home who causes your anxiety, what will be the best thing to do?
Okay. No? In counseling, what we do with our clients, no, is that, mo ni siya, no? Okay, you experience anxiety, and with that, no, perhaps you experience stress because of that, no. Now, you can only choose three, no, because this is the reality of your situation right now. Okay, you already express this experience to me, no, and this is your life situation that you have no choice, no, because muna siya ang imuhang muna siya ang imuhang environment right now that causes you to feel anxious, no. So in counseling, what we do is we are going to let the person choose, no. Number one is, if you consider that one as a stressor which causes you anxiety, kaya ra ba siya that you are going to avoid with that kind of stressor? Number two option is, you're going to make that stressor adjust to you. Meaning to say, the people that surrounds you that causes you anxiety is going to change for you. And then number three is, you're going to adjust with that kind of stressor. So the question is, which is which? You only have three options, no? These are your three realities. And then we're going to link that one with, you're going to link these three with your current situation right now, no? Is it possible for you to go out, no, from your house tapos mupuyo kag laing balay because these people that surrounds you are the main causes of that makes you feel anxious? Is it possible? Yes or no? So yon. Number two is, you're going to change that stressor that causes you anxious, that makes you anxious. Is it possible for you to practice being assertive and tell the people in your house na dapat mag-change sila in order to lessen your anxiety, no? So yon, yes or no? So yon, possible ba siya? And the number three is it possible for you to change, no? Or to adjust or to cope with that situation, knowing that that is the reality of the situation and you have no choice, no? But to bear, no? Or to adjust with that kind of situation. So question is, which is which? You can only choose one out of three. So yon. Okay? So yon. So choose lang siya kung asa sa tulo. But before that person is going to choose or that student is going to choose, dapat iya sang i-explore more as to what is the best option para sa iya. Okay? Kaya pwede man nga, like say for example, you're not just you're just not assertive, no? Dili ka assertive. That's why dili makasulti sa ilaha, maka-articulate sa imong thoughts or feelings sa ilaha. And that's one of the reasons why you are being anxious, no? Could be inana ang ilahang klase sa approach sa imuha tapos dili pa jud nimo masulti, no? So yun, pwede na siya if pwede sa iyaha, no? And then the other reason is kaya ba nga mo go out ka sa imong balay tapos mupuyo ka sa lain, no? Yes or no. Nay uban pwede, na puyo uban dili. Or kaya ba nga mo adjust ka para aning inani nga situation. Kay mo na jud ni siya ang realidad sa imuhang sitwasyon karon nga napalibutan kag iyon ani nga mga tao nga maka-cause sa imuha to feel anxious. Okay? So yun.
Okay, sir. Excuse me, sir. There's a question, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The question, sir, is that I just want to return no kay na flash mo siya actually. His question, sir, is do
Yes.
we have an active organization in Mindanao that we can contact to ask for advices? Because sometimes students tend to not share to their peers or people inside their circle because of the stigma that comes with it.
Yes, thank you, sir. Yes, there are a lot of active organization in Mindanao, no? Pero dito ta sa micro-organization, which is ang inyong guidance office, no? You have your guidance counselors, no? They are trusted professionals for you to share your concerns and problems, no? So yon. So I think we'll start there, no, sa guidance office. They're very very much credible for you to for you nga ma-handle ang inyong mga concerns, no? So yun.
Sir, another question, sir,
Yes,
uh,
ma'am.
from a psychology student. Nalang ko question, lately lang nahibalaan nga akong manghod na heart disease tapos tungod sa iyang pag-atake-atake dito na nag-start nga naa na daw siya yung mga unusual nga behavior nga na-experience like mahadlok siya sa daghang tao kay magpanik siya pag saba tapos di kayo siya katog igabi kay mahadlok siya atakingon sa iyang sakit. Tungod
Mm-mm.
sa kakulangon sa budget, di dayon na ako mapatan-aw sa professional. So, unsay first aid para malikayan ng inani?
Okay, ma'am. Um, First is if you have this concern no nga um kanang in terms of kanang sa budget nga medyo lisod no. Um First is you have a guidance office no nga pwede ninyo mastoryahan sa inyong concerns no. And then if the guidance office would think na beyond na sa ilahang competency, then they can refer you to individuals that are credible to handle that. And then on the other hand, no, talking about the budget, say for example, if dili jud sa kaya, no, like the basics lang, like you first need to know what are the triggering factors that made you feel that way, and if pwede siya ma-avoid, then ma-avoid. But then, no, a suggestion lang nako, if kaya siya, no, or pwede siya nga ma-overcome hinay-hinay, then you need to gradually expose yourself in that situation, no? So yon. Because whenever you avoid something, no, and then later on you're going to experience that situation, tendency would be if wala ka na resolve ana, magbalik-balik jud na siya sa imuha, no? So yon. Pero if kaya siya, like for example, you have these triggering factors that made you feel that way, and then you know that kaya ra nimo, kung kaya ra siya, then you need to gradually expose yourself ana nga situation. If dili siya kaya, then avoid that situation. Okay? So yun.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
And third question, more naglamin again. There are times na I feel like not talking to someone, like I want to seclude myself from people, even my family. Kanang all of a sudden, I want to be alone and don't want to be with people, even offline, such as Facebook or other platforms. I want to be alone and with just music on my ears. I want to hide myself from the world kaya I feel down without any reason. Sadyang inaog lang yun ang akong hype. Should I be worried? Should I check myself? Am I possessing any signs of depression?
Okay. I will not directly say that you have signs of depression because daghay dapat na itong i-consider. However, no, when you have that kind of feeling, no, you mentioned ganina, you ask yourself nga, is this something nga dapat kong ma-worry? No? Of course, it is something nga dapat kang ma-worry, no? And then I would suggest that you need to seek help sa mga guidance counselors, no? In order for you to explore more about the reason why you are having that kind of feeling. Because considering, no, since that you already mentioned this one here, no, imo na siyang gi-comment na ni nga concern sa imo ha, nimo, no, diri sa live, no. Of course, we can say that it is something that makes you worry, no. So yun. So I would suggest nga dapat mag-seek ka og help sa mga guidance counselors nimo, no. And then but then dili siya mahimong effective ng iyon ana if you are not willing to freely articulate your thoughts and feelings sa ilaha. Okay? So yun. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Are there any other questions na nakalinya? We do appreciate it all. Siguro mag-cater na lang tag last three questions before we
Okay.
proceed to the next.
Uh, sir, na question diri sir. Ah, sir, unsay mahatag nimong advice sa mga tao nga nag-undergo og breakdown? Some sa ilaha gusto mo reach out para makigstorya but at the same time gusto sab nila i-face ang problem alone.
Okay. Um I really agree with this aphorism that this is a basic aphorism, no, that no man really is an island, no. So yun. So we are really encouraged to to really share our thoughts to other people, no. And then if you're worried, no, and you preferred to face it alone, no, don't worry when you're going to start to talk about these concerns to the guidance people, because these people are very credible, and your secrets are safe sa ilaha, no. So if you have some concerns nga dili ka comfortable nga makadungog ang uban about these experiences or concerns that you have, no, it is very essential for you to really articulate how you feel and what your thoughts are, because ang guidance people man god, they will help you how to organize your thoughts, no. They're going to facilitate, no, all throughout the process upon sharing your problems, no. So yon. So dili lang dapat gami na pag nakainana nga kabugaton nga gibati, no. Dapat you need to let someone help you, no. And it will only be effective if you're going to you're going to be committed, no, nga natabangan ka, no. So yun.
Sir, there is another question.
Yes, Mama Lynn.
From Charity Mediado, Sir Carl. Okay. The question
Yes.
is, Sir, I have question. I'm a young person and one of my parents has a mental illness. What can I do?
I have yan, personal. One of my parents has a mental illness. What
Yes,
can
what
I
can
do?
I do?
Okay. First is what do you mean by mental illness? Okay. And then second question is, how does it affect you? How does it affect the entire family, no? The family dynamics, no? So yun. At then a general answer lang regarding Anna is when the person is having mental illness, no? Um if kaya, no, sa imuhang situation, no, talking about a stressor, talking about stress, no, you need to you need to adjust, no, or you need to do something about yourselves to adjust about yourself to adjust in that kind of situation, no. So yun. So dapat na kay mga adjustments nga buhaton sa imuhang self in order to fit in sa kung unsay panginahanglanon sa imuhang parent, no, kung kinsa na siya nga parent, no? So yun. So, okay. So, dapat you need to do something sa imong self nga kanang like for example, if that parent of yours is na I need sa imuha or na I need sa entire family. So, you need to do something sa imong self in order to in order to cater that kind of need. without no totally sacrificing your self food, no, because that can also affect your mental health as well. Okay, so yun.
Okay, thank you, Sir Carl.
So we have the
Welcome,
last
ma'am.
one question from Sir Kagas, so we can proceed now to the next.
Okay, sir. The last questions are from the students, sir. No, sir. Nowadays, people are being bombarded by negative thoughts. Not everyone is capable of rewarding themselves from time to time. So others result to just slipping the stress out. So in connection to our topic today, sir, is it really helpful to just slip the stress out?
Um, no, no. Thank you, sir. No, thank you for that question. No, no. I'm going to just a recap lang sa katong mention ganina, no. About willful blindness, no. So yun, that's a term in psychology in which we know that we are experiencing something that could give us a negative impact in the future, no. Perhaps karon wala siya nakahatag sa ato, but then later on, but we know though that's it's gradually affecting us. Pero dili siya inana kataas ang effects sa ato, no. And then sometimes, no, people tend to do that kind of approach, no, nga pasagdahan lang nga nagkataas ang stressor, no. So yun. So it's dili siya pwede, no, nga dapat pasagdahan lang nato nga ang stressor is mo slip away lang siya. And this is the problem with some meditations right now, no, nga gina-apply nato sa atong selves because naiuban magud nga meditation nga we are going to whenever we experience that kind of feeling or reaction, we're just going to close our eyes and meditate, and then we feel okay na then after without even solving really the main cause of the problem, no? So yun. So whenever you feel that kind of feeling, no, or stress, no, you need to you need to take it into consideration as soon as possible in order not to kuan dili siya mosamot na siya nga kind of stressor. So yun. Okay? So very essential kaayo nga dapat ma-identify nato na siyang root cause sa atong problem. Kay once nga ato na siyang ato na siyang ma-solve, no, as soon as possible, then that can also lower our mental health. Kaya kung pasagdahan nato, mas na tendency nga mas maka-affect na siya insakto sa ato ang mental health in the future. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So,
Welcome,
so
sir.
that ends the open forum part of this webinar. So we'd like to say thank you for all the students who are participating and sharing their questions and giving their questions. As much as we wanted to cater all of your questions, but just like what Sir Carl said a while ago, the SPS office or the guidance office is very much welcome you for all of you guys if you do have some concerns like karon. So at least na-realize na ninyo nga dili dili kay ta mo layo sa gamay, so naa pa mi diri. So that's the reason why we posted some information, quotations, encouragement sa among Facebook page because we want to let you know that our office is very much available and very much open to cater your concerns. Please do not hesitate to message us, to send us private message if you do have some concerns. If you're not comfortable of talking to me for like ako ang nag-cater for College of Criminal Justice Education and College of Engineering, and then at nabilong ka ana nga kurso, but if dili kay ka comfortable mag-istorya nako, there are other guidance advocates who are still willing and are available to talk with you. I know nga we will not force you man po to talk, but we just let you know that we are very much available anytime you wanted someone to talk to. And I believe nanay uban no tuod na sa amo, and we were very thankful for that. We do appreciate for that. And we are still encouraging more students kay sa karon nga panahon uh, on this kind of kani-kani nga area aside sa inyong family. Pwede ra pod makatabang and pwede ra pod maminaw sa inyong side is us. Pwede ra gid kaayo. So please do not hesitate to talk to us, to reach out on us if you do have some concerns. Once again, thank you so much for all the students, for all the Josephians who participated in this activity. And later, Dil Madugay will be posting now the link for the evaluation of the seminar. But before that, I'd like to present first our the certificate of commendation that we are going to give.
Start a dream of a better life. Let SJIT be your guide. Set your goals, make your plans. We can help you today. What you want to become. St. Joseph Institute of Technology can give you the best in your learning each day. St. Joseph Institute of Technology can make the best of who you are someday.
Part of this activity to be one of our resource speaker of this activity.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for the invitation. Thank you. Thank you so much, SBIT, the guidance people. Ma'am Mai, thank you so much, Ma'am Van.
Thank you, sir. Would like to say thank you also to Attorney Marinel June Escalar, our supervising guidance counselor, for helping us to make this program possible. So at this point, we will now be sharing with you the link for the evaluation. Again, for those students who weren't able to register because na-absent sila time, na na-closean sila, I made an announcement already that the registration will be closed again na alas 7. However, for those who haven't uh, registered a while ago, another evaluation, again, this is for all. Dili pasabot nga katong naka-register na kagaina or kagahapon or the other day will not answer this one. This is for all students because this is still one of our requirements for us to sign your clearance. So again, kindly copy the link, tap this link, and answer now your evaluation form for you to for you to be counted also your attendance. And we have now our reference for you guys to be signed your clearance by the end of semester. So I hope that you have copied already the link. You any moment from now will end this webinar series. Again, with from the bottom of our heart, on behalf of the Student Personal Services, would like to say thank you to the administration, the school administration, headed by our Chief Executive Officer and President, Dr. Leticia Salas, for supporting us. To the deans of the different colleges, we have the Dean of the College of Education, College of Criminal Justice Education, College of Arts and Sciences, College of Engineering and Architecture, College of Business and Information Technology, Maritime Academy. And we'd like to appreciate and thank you also. I believe there are some other students who are from the senior high school who watched this webinar. Thank you so much. And for all the students for giving time and listening and for participating in our activity, would like to say thank you. And until on the next activity that will the SPS and SJIT will be holding, would like to ask again your full support for every activities that um, will be held. That should be we're hoping that it will be 100% possible. Once again, copy the link for the evaluation form and answer it, and automatically will be acknowledged once you have answered already the evaluation form. I'd like to say also thank you to our technical team and advisor Dave for making this activity very possible and successful. Now, if you don't have any concerns, again, Please do not forget to like and follow our official Facebook page of the Student Personal Services. It's SJIT, Student Personal Services SPS Office. And that's public already. You can view that one and follow and just keep posted on every information that we're going to post, as well as the official Facebook page of St. Joseph Institute of Technology. So without further ado, on behalf of the SPS office, would like to say thank you and good morning.
Of a better life. Let SJIT be your guide. Set your goals, make your plans. We can help you today. What you want to become. St. Joseph Institute of Technology can give you the best in your learning each day. St. Joseph Institute of Technology can make the best of who you are someday. Start a dream of a better life. Let SJIT be your guide. Set your goals, make your plans. We can help you today. What you want to become. St. Joseph Institute of Technology can give you the best in your learning each day. St. Joseph Institute of Technology can make the best